I don't think enough of us, especially creative people, know the full tax benefit of using these accounts. So I just wanted to spend this episode today telling you how much money you can get when you use them. Welcome to the Sunlight Tax Podcast. In this show, we're talking about taxes, money, and careers for self-employed people who have a big vision for changing the world with their work. I'm your host, Hannah Cole, artist, design nerd, tax pro, author of Taxes for Humans, and the founder of Sunlight Tax. If you're a creative, wellness, or mission-driven entrepreneur who wants to grow your business sustainably, manage your taxes, and build a stash of fuck you money so you can control your time and have a bigger impact with your work, you are in the right place. Hello. So good to be with you as we get close to the end of the year. I'm recording this during the holiday season. It's kind of crazy times. And if you're listening to this episode, it is just after my birthday. I had the poor taste to be born in the shadow of Jesus, and he always gets the bigger birthday party. But I always try to take a little bit of time and celebrate. So just telling you that. So I was doing some research about just like tax literacy in general, and I came across some interesting study that was done by the National Financial Educators Council that said that financial illiteracy costs Americans more than $243 billion in the year 2024. And that is about $1,000 per person. Just a lack of financial literacy, right? And the Tax Foundation did a study that showed that 61% of U.S. taxpayers did not know basic tax concepts related to filing their income taxes. One of the big culprits is just about how tax brackets work, right? A lot of people forego promotions or overtime because they fear that having a little bit more money will put them into a new tax bracket, and that will have a big effect on their taxes. They don't realize it does not have a very big effect on their taxes, not worth forgoing a promotion. So tax literacy is just, this is the reason I wrote a book, right? I think that basic financial education, that basic tax education is just so critical for not missing out on promotions and making more money and getting what you are entitled to. So just interesting to me to just look at a couple numbers to see right, there's some real reason why we need this information. All right. So today on the podcast, what I want to do for you is kind of explain to you, tell you a big tip. I want to give you a big juicy tip to take away for the end of the year. So what is the best thing that you can do for yourself this year? Honestly, every year, but this year, in order to save some more money, get the most out of the money that you have. So that's what I want to talk about. All right. So what is it? Stashing money in your tax-advantaged accounts, like retirement, like a health savings account. This is the best thing you can do. And I thought that today I would bring you some math to put a fine point on it so you really see how much of a benefit it is when you put the maximum contribution into your IRA or into an HSA and maybe a combo. Okay? All right. So here's the scenario. I think a lot of people are especially as you get close to tax time, you start thinking cash feels a little short. I never have as much money as I want. One day I'll sit down and look at all this stuff, but I'm going to put it off, right? And you think what difference could it possibly make to put money into an IRA? Well, I just want to show you what that difference really is, okay? I did a little math for you so that you can have a better understanding of really how much benefit you are getting when you use these accounts versus how much you're missing out on when you don't, okay? All right, so I used as an example a single taxpayer making $75,000 of self-employment income. Okay. So this could be from a creative practice, from gig work, that your primary income is coming from self-employment, right? Because that's who I speak to. That's who I'm teaching. And that's who frankly needs the most help because it's the hardest. So a single taxpayer without dependents, without anything complex in their tax return, so this is just a theoretical person, I plugged in a $75,000 profit from freelance work and what the numbers would look like in terms of what tax that person would pay. So someone who's single without any dependents, without any other tax credits, etc., on $75,000 of profit in their small business would be paying $17,385 in tax. That's for 2025. So the tax return you will be doing in 2026. $17,385 is the tax bill. Also, just to kind of break it out for you a little bit, something interesting that you might not be aware of is what a huge factor self-employment tax is when you are self-employed. So of that $17,385 of tax, $10,597 are self-employment tax. That is 64% of your tax bill, right? When I give workshops, tax workshops all across the country, I spend a lot of time teaching about self-employment tax, and that's the reason why. It is a massive factor, and if you don't know it's coming, you are going to dramatically underestimate the taxes you owe. Okay. Soapbox over. Moving on. All right. So the total, little over $17,000 in taxes, right, is what this person would owe. Now, here's where the benefit of putting money into a tax-advantaged traditional IRA will come in. So the 2025 maximum that you can put into an IRA, that's a retirement account where you put the money on a shelf. It's still your money. It stays yours. You're just agreeing not to touch it for a while and to put it in an account, hopefully invest the money in that account and let it grow over time. That is the whole goal, right? Because the point is to give you an incentive to help you save for retirement, which is hard to save for, right? That's why the government gives you this massive tax benefit. Okay, if you put the full 2025 maximum into an IRA in 2025, $7,000, how much does that lower your taxes? Well, when I plug that into a tax calculator, this same person now owes $15,996 in taxes. So the difference there is $1,389 in tax savings. That's a lot of tax savings for putting $7,000 into an account that's still your money, right? Saving $1,300, that's pretty good. And that is just from maxing it out in 1 year. Of course, the hope is that inside that container of the IRA, you then invest that money in, well-diversified, low-cost index funds. That's not financial advice, but, modest, low-fee, diversified index funds, and let them grow, right? And agree to not touch them, because getting rich slowly is the whole jam with investing. All right. Now, what happens if you hypercharge this and you decide to put even more cash away for yourself? Let's say on top of that IRA, you also want to add in a full contribution to your HSA, your health savings account. So you are also entitled to do this if you have a high deductible health plan, qualifying high deductible health plan, that entitles you to open an HSA. HSA money can also be invested. And when you take HSA money out to pay for qualifying medical expenses, then it's tax-free when you take it out. So it's a pretty great deal in HSA. The max for 2025 is $4,300 for a single individual, okay? Now, I do want to make you aware that HSAs have expanded a little bit this year to qualify for other plans. So it used to be only a high deductible health plan that you could use an HSA with. This year, under the new One Big Beautiful Bill Act, HSAs are now okay to open if you also have a catastrophic healthcare plan or a bronze healthcare plan. Okay, so in addition to the high deductible health plan. All right, so this same person, if they put the full maximum into an IRA and the full $4,300 maximum into an HSA in addition, this person saves an additional $517 in tax. All right. So the total savings, when you add the $1,389 of savings from maxing out your IRA, plus the savings from maxing out an HSA, that is almost $2,000 in tax savings for 2025. $1,906. All right. So that's $1,906 of free money given to you by the U.S. government because you've saved money in these areas that the government wants you to save money in. They're basically big ticket items that are difficult. So I just wanted to kind of put some numbers to that and help you see what a big deal the tax savings is when you use these kinds of accounts. All right. In my book, Taxes for Humans, and in my program, Money Bootcamp, I teach about this, what I call the power triangle. And the power triangle is basically using accounts like this. And there are even more out there, by the way. I just gave you an example of 2. But using your tax-advantaged accounts, finding all the hidden money you could be getting if you used these accounts to maximum advantage, and then putting that money inside them and having it invested wisely. When you do that, when you have all 3 points of the triangle kicking, you have money that is building wealth as you sleep, right? You're getting more squeezed out of every dollar rather than hustling harder. You're just making your money itself work harder. I love that. I don't think enough of us, especially creative people, know the full tax benefit of using these accounts. So I just wanted to spend this episode today telling you how much money you can get when you use them. All right. Now, of course, I was just using a sample person, $75,000 of income. Your income may be higher or lower. I encourage you to go play with an online income tax calculator and see for yourself how much money you could save if you were to use these accounts and max them out this year. If you do one really wonderful thing for yourself this year, I hope that you will put every dollar that you can, even if you can't max it out, every dollar that you feel able to, into a tax-advantaged account for yourself and invest that money inside of it, because that's how you build wealth without having to work harder. All right. And if you're interested in getting a little bit of help with this, or just kind of watching me do an online, like a demonstration of like how that all works in conjunction with the compound interest of, when that money is invested, I did explain this. I did kind of do a walkthrough of how this works in the free class that I offered in December. And I wanted to let you know that that free class is available on demand now. So if you missed it, if you're curious, if you want to see that demo of like, well, how powerful is compound interest? How does this actually get me a lot of money, decades down the road? I do really show you the graph. I show you the math. I show you some common misconceptions about it. So if you want that teaching, I think it's really valuable. I also talk a little about that power triangle. So if you're interested in watching that class on demand because you missed it the first time, you can sign up. It's free. It's just an hour, and it's at go.sunlighttax.com/register. So take a look, check it out. I do talk about my program in it. You're under no obligation or pressure to join my program. I do talk about it if you're curious, and I will let you know that the best deal that I ever offer on my program is available if you watch that video. So that is still valid. If you watch it, I offer a free one-on-one tax consultation. So that is something that is available if you do watch that, and if you do decide that you want to join my program. But whether you do or not, I think that explainer that I give in that free class of how compound interest works inside these tax-advantaged accounts, it's really awesome, and I don't think enough of us know. So that is my gift to you. I hope that you take advantage. Again, if you want to watch that class, see that explainer, the class's name is Make Taxes Easier and Stash an Extra $152K in Your Savings. The reason I titled it that is because literally I show you on this growth curve how it makes a $152,000 difference to do this stuff versus not in one single year. Okay, so that's what it's about. So you can get that class at go.sunlighttax.com/register. Either way, I hope that this little explainer about the power of putting money inside an IRA or an HSA or other tax advantage accounts, what those numbers actually look like and how much money it actually saves you on your federal income taxes. It's more dramatic than I think people realize, so I really wanted to bring that to you today. All right, my last word today. This podcast is airing the day after my birthday, and I had one birthday wish. My birthday wish is, I am wondering if you would be willing, if you enjoy the Sunlight Tax podcast, if you've ever gotten any value out of today's episode, any episode in the past, would you be willing to rate and review it? That would be the nicest birthday gift you could possibly give to me. If you are in, for example, iTunes right now, you can click Go to Show. And so on that Go to Show page, you just scroll down past the couple of top episodes, and at the bottom it'll say tap to review. It says ratings and review, and it says tap to review. You just tap, hopefully 5 stars. I hope that's how you feel about the show. And then right below that first review, it says click to write a review, and you can write just a couple words about what kind of value this Sunlight Tax podcast has brought to you, what makes you like it, why you listen. Your rating helps this podcast find listeners who could really benefit from it. Podcasts don't go viral. There is no other way that they grow other than you rating and reviewing it and sharing it with a friend. So thank you for fulfilling my birthday dream for more reviews of my podcast so it can find more listeners. I am so grateful to you, and I am wishing you the best holiday season. I hope it's great. I hope you stash a lot of money. I hope I helped inspire you to max out your IRA, maybe an HSA as well this year. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. It really helps. I'm so grateful. My tax guide, Taxes for Humans, is available wherever you buy books and at sunlighttax.com/book. This podcast is for education and entertainment only. Nothing in this episode should be taken as individual tax or financial advice. You can find all the tools, books, and links I reference at sunlighttax.com/podcast.